Welcome back to Key Talk Media. This your host, Key Talk. Check it out, man. All right. Hey, I want to get shout out to Notification Gang, Key Talk Gang for rocking with me every single video. If you listen to my voice right now, go and hit the notification bell so you get a notification every single time I drop a video. Anyway, so the last time we reported on LilCj Kasino, it was actually Goyayo that had snapped on LilCj Kasino online because of course LilCj Kasino has been doing a whole lot of trolling ever since Goyayo, the four-year huncho, has actually got out of jail. You already know. Well, today news about LilCj Kasino is actually some unfortunate news. Now, we know that LilCj just bonded out of jail like maybe less than even a month and a half ago, right? Because he had some serious gun charge, all type of stuff, right? Well, now it does look like LilCj Kasino has been arrested again, but this time it's more gun charges. But also they said something about possession of dangerous drugs, right? Now, who knows what that is? I hope and I pray that it ain't got nothing to do with no Fetty, because if it's Fetty, that's some real deal time, right? And then also, hopefully he didn't have a large amount of whatever he had, because that goes even more into the time. Now, it doesn't say how much he actually had or anything like that at all, but it does, like I say, just say that he had a possession of some dangerous stuff. And of course, he got some holds on him for like another unlawful carrier weapon. Now, remember, Goyeo, he actually had a whole list of unlawful carrying of weapons, and they got him what was like 4 years. So LilCj Kasino could potentially be looking at some time whenever this is all said and done. Of course, I know he's going to hire some of the best lawyers to try to fight this as best as he potentially and possibly can, which I imagine that's what Goyeo did as well. But 2024 has been a music-wise one of the best years, or probably the best year for LilCj Kasino. Everybody noticed he switched his style up, and he's been just completely killing, going off on every single track he's been doing. But on the other end, you still got the laws and stuff that's kind of a part of his lifestyle, the lifestyle that he actually lived, him and others, that just comes with it, right? Anyways, now speaking of LilCj Kasino, someone that LilCj Kasino has been having some issues with, well, they had some issues with each other just recently in the past, none other than BigXThaPlug. So it does look like, before I actually get into the whole BigXThaPlug situation, let me actually go to the comment section. You already know we got to look at the comment section for the LilCj Kasino arrest. And on these comments, a lot of people actually thought that Buddy, it was a publicity stunt, but I personally got the information sent to me, so I know it's real. He actually is in jail. So the first comment says, that ain't going to make that album chart. We seen this publicity stunt before, in which no. Then somebody said, nah, he really is. Where he doing what? Arlington PD arrested for possession of dangerous drugs. I smell a publicity stunt. Yeah, I can tell y'all right now, 100%, this isn't a publicity stunt. This is actually a real deal. Actually, y'all thought the last time was a publicity stunt when he walked into to go bail his homie out and went to jail. Y'all thought that was a publicity stunt too. Turns out that wasn't a publicity stunt, and this is just something else. It's not a publicity stunt. Anyway, so BigXThaPlug finally released his highly anticipated album. He actually called it Take Care. Now, of course, y'all may have heard of a Take Care album that it may remind y'all of like Drake, because Drake had actually one of Drake's classic albums is called Take Care, right? Well, it looks like BigXThaPlug has came through with his own Take Care album. I'm being hunted with y'all, fam. BigXThaPlug be snapping. I like the fact that BigXThaPlug be having all type of like them samples, even though some people saying it ain't samples, it's something else, but it sounds like samples to me, so I'm calling them samples. But they just go super hard. The beat selection of BigXThaPlug is dope. Of course, his lyricism always dope, and of course his execution on the songs are dope as well. So I think BigXThaPlug got like a super bright future, even though it's already bright right now. It might be getting a little bit brighter. Now, speaking of having a little bit brighter future, now BigXThaPlug, this was his album cover. Of course, he's X. He's got like the X above his eye, and then an X right on this eye right here, which still got this eye out, and then of course he's got the X right here with his nose in between the triangle there. You already know. I posted this and I said, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you see Big X cover? What do you think of when you see BigXThaPlug album covers for his project Take Care dropping tonight, which is actually out now? And a whole lot of people had a whole lot to say about the album cover, right? The first person said, which was Beto, he said, he sold his soul for a jelly roll. The next person says, X marks the spot. Next person said, Global said, X-Men. The next person said, Kakashi Sensei. The next person said, that's live right there. Oh, Xbox console. Here go the Illumination people. They done got them. Then there goes somebody with the Xbox thing right there too. Hold on, give me just a second here. Let me actually put it back on there like that. The next person, he covered one eye, so I ain't gonna say nothing. Those who know. One eye symbolism. Illuminati for sure. Sold out. Sold it, sold, shake my head. The biggest, the largest. I don't know. I saw slaves. Dang, they got them, shake my head. If you know, you know. They offer so much money, shake my head. Kunta Kinte. Teen Titans. Dang, they done got them too. So a lot of people are saying like they done got them and all this other stuff right here. Then like I say, it was a good idea to do this cover like this. Why? Because it's going to get people to talking. Whether people are saying that somehow the Illuminati or whatever you want to call it done got them or whatever that may be, got them or whatever, right? It's going to cause attention, which it definitely did because this post is actually, it's like going viral right now. Everybody want to come on and say what they're feeling. We'll read a couple more and then we will get into the next topic, which of course will be Mounk Tounk. Somebody else said hard, no Diddy. The next person said Pitbull, a big X. So jeweler said that. One of those big brands with an X crease, African Xbox. What in the blue hell is the African Xbox? Last off anybody saying this is Illuminati is real remedial. Where's Slade? This low key hard Xbox. Chop from GTA 420. African baby mama. Manga trying to get sponsored by Xbox. He not low. I thought it was someone's auntie. I just hate how they always have to incorporate that dang one-eye stuff. Cholesterol, Red X off Teen Titans, pretzel buns, the last king of Scotland. I wouldn't even let him take that no pick of me like this. X marks the spot. X constellation. Everybody is infusing X with it all, obviously, because his name is BigXThaPlug, so that's why they're implementing all that with it together. The next person say, sold out, you dummy, if you think it's just picture, fool. Never seen Yayo or 3 take them ugly as hand over eye pictures for the industry. I actually have. If you actually look at Yayo's last album, it's like this. He has like the Rolly right here and the one eye right there. So I mean, however you look at it, though, right? It says X. Next person say everybody dropping tonight, but I'm only checking out Ride Wave. Nah, we checking out Big X too, especially in Texas, right? The next person say 7 days, weeks, slave from Teen Titans. Anyway, so with that being said, if y'all have listened to the Big X album, let me know how y'all feel about the album. And also let me know how y'all feel about the album cover. Of course, he's got the X over that eye and an X right here. A lot of X's everywhere, right? And he is BigXThaPlug. So that's definitely expected. Anyways, now, so I told y'all a while ago, right? All the YSL members that took a plea deal is literally violating of the street code because they have to snitch. The plea deals literally say y'all got to snitch. Y'all got to get on the stand. Y'all got to say what y'all got to say, right? It wasn't just Gunna that people that actually, out of everybody that took that plea deal, Gunna ended up being one of the ones that don't have to actually get on the stand. But who do got to get on the stand? The other YSL members. A lot of the other YSL members include Mounk Tounk, who now they're trying to violate because he wouldn't stand on business on what they wanted him to say on what he signed on that paper. Because remember, Mounk Tounk said, I just signed. I ain't know what it was saying. I just wanted to get home to my kids, so I signed that paper right there. But I don't think all that stuff true. Listen, when you sign a paper for a plea deal, you can say it ain't all true if you want. But at the end of the day, it's saying, hey, this is a gang. Hey, these are the colors for that gang. Hey, that they did some criminal activities. Hey, that they done did this and did that, some murders and robberies and hits and that. When you sign, that's you saying, yeah, that happened. So when they call you to the stand, you got to back up what you've actually signed. You have to say, okay, listen, I know that they did do that, and now I've got to verbally tell you. That was you just, telling them on paper, signing it. But now you got to verbally do it. But since he didn't 100% do that, because he says he agreed to some of the stuff, but it's just he didn't agree to all that stuff, they are now trying to violate Mounk Tounk, and I'm going to actually get into reading it for you, right? So it says, the state is trying to revoke Mounk Tounk's probation after he violated his plea deal by saying the statements in his plea deal were not true. Now, I did make a video on that as well. We're going to read what the state actually has to say. It says, state's motion and petition to revoke probation. The state of Georgia, by and through Fannie T. Willis, oh, you know Fannie Willis, still on Buddy case. Fannie Willis, District Attorney for Atlanta Judicial Circuit of Georgia, and the undersigned Chief Deputy District Attorney Adam Abate hereby move this honorable court to revoke the defendant's probation in the above style matter in accordance to the OCGA. And it's like 30 years of probation anyways, right? He got to be perfectly clean, squeaky clean on 30 years of probation. Anyways, it continues and it says, another authority in support of this motion to state presence the following to court. Plea of guilty by the defendant on December 28, 2022. On December 28, 2022, the defendant pleaded guilty to conspiracy to violate Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Organization Act in the possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Chief Justice Judge Earl Glanville, who's no longer the judge anymore, they replaced him with that female judge, subsequently sentenced him to 30 years of probation. The general and special conditions of probation were detailed in a final disposition sentencing sheet filed on that Exhibit A. That means the last sheet that they had. Remember, whenever these guys were taking their plea deal, and at the very bottom, the last part said, hey, you will say this in court if you're called. You will agree to this. You da-da-da-da-da-da-da, right? They had to stick to the plan. They had to stick to what they was actually saying, right? But since they're not sticking to what they're saying, now they're trying to get that boy up out of there. And let's continue. Anyway, so it says, special conditions of defendant sentence. Chief Judge Glanville imposed several special conditions on defendant's probation, including a requirement that he fully adhere to all terms of the negotiated agreement. Any failure to comply with these terms will be considered a violation of the agreement. Pertinent to this motion are following special conditions. These are the conditions, I guess they're about to say, right? It says, and he agreed to these. But now, when it was time to take that stand, he didn't want to fully agree. So it says, defendant shall abide in full by action and all terms of this negotiation agreement. Defendant's failure to abide by any terms of this agreement shall constitute a violation of the agreement. So right off the bat, on A, they said if you don't, abide by the agreement that you're signing, you automatically, it's canceled out, right? So that's why they're trying to cancel it out. B says defendant shall testify truthfully above all matters relating to this case upon which he is questioned. So this means, hey, you get on the stand, you have to tell us, and you have to, what you sign, you have to verbally say it on the stand like I told y'all, right? At any trial or judicial proceeding stemming from the facts alleged in its indictment. In accordance with testifying truthfully about all matters relating to the case, defendant acknowledges that each and all of the statements contained within the defendant's factual acknowledgement. So his defendant's factual acknowledgement, which means yes, we did all of that stuff. Are you sure you did that stuff? Are you sure you was robbing and killing and having guns whenever you was a felon? Yes, right. Anyway, it says a factual acknowledgement section of this agreement are true. Defendant shall testify truthfully about each statement contained within defendant's factual acknowledgement and any matters related to this case when he asked to do so in any proceeding related to the facts alleged in this indictment. It continues and it says, defendants violated special conditions of probation. The defendant has violated all special conditions of his sentence outlined above on September 4th, 2024. He was called to testify in the trial in the case with his testimony continuing through September 6, 2024, during which he underwent both direct and cross-examination. During his testimony, the defendant directly contradicted the special conditions of his plea agreement by disavowing the factual acknowledgement, which means disavowing means like saying, "Oh, I ain't standing on that," pretty much, right? And in the other lingo, he ain't standing on what he said in this factual acknowledgement. He had sworn were accurate and true during the plea hearing on December 28, 2022. At that time, he had the opportunity to correct or clarify any statements in the factual acknowledgement before affirming their truth under oath. He also confirmed that he fully understood the agreement and had discussed in detail with his chosen attorney, Derek Wright. Most importantly, the defendant acknowledged that he understood that any violation of the special conditions of his plea agreement could lead to the revocation of his probation, with the district attorney recommending the maximum sentence allowed by law in Georgia Department of Corrections. It says, continues, and verbally that he entered into the plea agreement freely, knowingly, and voluntarily without any force, threat, or coercion. And on that stand, remember, On the stand, Mounk Tounk said that he felt like that he was forced, he felt like that he was coerced to actually sign that agreement, that he didn't understand what was going on. He had stuff going on with his mama. He needed to get home, stuff going on with his kids he wanted to take care of. But he did sign it all right. And he signed a paper saying, hey, I'm doing this of my free will. And he also said that he had a conversation with his lawyer. And if you have a conversation with your lawyer, you know what you're doing, you know what you're signing, and it is what it is. But he just wanted to get out, but didn't think he'd have to come and face this day, which, you know, you do, right? Anyways, the last sentence of it all, it says, it is evident that the defendant acknowledges and willfully violated the special conditions of his negotiated plea agreement with the intent to disrupt the trial of this case. Therefore, the state of Georgia requests that the petition to revoke probation be scheduled for an evidentiary hearing, and that the defendant ordered to appear before the court to explain why his probated sentence should not be revoked in its entirety. Respectfully submitted in the 9th day of October, 2024. And the 9th day of October, today's the 11th, so this was 19th. So this was 3 days ago. So he's going to have to get on that stand and beg and plead and really, you know, try to give his case on why they should not revoke his case. Hold on, give me just a second here. Okay, so if you look at some of the comments, people just laughing. They say, try to pull a Woody, but it ain't work. Yeah, Woody the only one that get up there and act like, see, I'm talking about play around and still be able to be free. The next person said, Microsoft couldn't get Woody to fold. Next target, take the VOP charge. So, you know, people say he gonna have to just stand on that business and do whatever he gonna have to do. You know what I'm talking about? Because, hey man, he knew what he had signed from the get-go in front of the beginning. Anyway, so in other news, and the last topic we'll cover today, they saying that Kanye West tried to hire a private investigator to investigate the Kardashians for trafficking, pretty much the same thing that Diddy got, right? But not only that, they're also saying that Kanye West hired a private investigator to follow his wife everywhere she goes whenever she's alone, and whether she's going to Australia, where she's from, or anywhere it may be, to pretty much do that, right? And this is from TMZ, and I'm going to read what TMZ is stating that they actually uncovered, right? Let's go ahead and get into it. So it says, well, before we actually get to reading it, let me make it like that for you. It says, Kanye West hired fixer to follow Bianca investigate Kardashian. Fixer to follow Bianca investigate Kardashian's new lawsuit alleges, right? So this is a guy that used to, this is Kanye West, obviously, but a guy that used to work for Kanye West, used to be his intelligence, I guess you could say, for his company, Yeezy. He's coming out and making this lawsuit, right? So it says, Kanye West is being sued by a man claiming to be his former director of intelligence, who has alleged the rapper ordered him to orchestrate investigation into both wife Bianca Censori and former in-laws, the Kardashians. So obviously Kanye West didn't pay Buddy, and Buddy trying to get his paper, right? Probably gonna say something about emotional distress or something like that. In new court documents obtained by TMZ, the man, who is suing anonymously as John Doe, claims the rapper never paid him for work done over several pay periods and caused him emotional distress. See, that's what it always is, emotional distress and no payment. It says, per lawsuit in December 2022, he had initially hired the staffer to be his campaign manager for his presidential run, but later revoked his role to be Yeezy's director of intelligence. The man claims the position required him to be responsible for handling Ye's NDAs, non-disclosure agreements. If y'all don't know what that is, that's like, hey man, listen, I'm gonna invite you over, pipe you down, sign this paper right now, you can't talk about it at all. And other investigations, which included closer looks into Kardashians and Bianca. The next sentence says, the man says he was tasked with hiring private investigators to tell Bianca without her knowledge. So he had to tell her without her knowledge. That means follow behind her without her actually knowing, whenever she traveled solo, including during visits with her family to Australia. He alleges he was tapped to look into the Kardashians' supposed various criminal links, and says Ye believes his former in-laws participated in it as trafficking. Doe alleges in May 2024, Ye began exhibiting erratic behavior, possibly as a result of his alleged nitrous oxide usage after implanting titanium grills on his teeth. Also in the docs around the same time, Doe says Ye began laying off employees involved in the leadership of the Yeezy brand. So what they're trying to structure this is to say, hey, he's been off of that stuff, not only off of that stuff, but now there's no leadership to kind of keep him going, because he's firing the leadership roles of his actual company. That's why they continue and they say Doe claims his working relationship came to a head when Kanye, after he shared complaints from a Donda Academy staffer who alleged children had been abused at the school and nothing was done to report the problem. Doe says Kanye West responded to the news by yelling and cursing at him as well as threatening the man with great bodily harm. Doe alleges Ye's enforcers sent him threats in the aftermath of the confrontation, which he says triggered his PTSD from his time in the military. And of course, when he say triggered his PTSD from time in the military. He's just trying to play on the emotions of people so that way he can get some paper. The John Doe is seeking an unspecified amount of damages. We've reached out to Kanye Rep for a comment so far. No word back. Anyway, so with all that being said, we got LilCj Kasino, who could be potentially facing some real time because he's got some serious charges that he's already fighting, got out on bond, went back on some more serious charges. Of course, you've got BigXThaPlug. His album dropped called Take Care, and a lot of people, have their own different thoughts about his album cover, whether some say, oh, this is dope. Some say, oh, it's Illuminati. Some say, oh, it reminds me of the Xbox. Some say, oh, it reminds me of the guy on Teen Titans. Some say it reminds me of what's his name, Kakashi Sensei, something like that. And then also, Mounk Tounk may be getting arrested. And for the other YSL members that's actually looking at this, they might want to see what's going on with Mounk Tounk because they too will be in the same position where they will have to speak on the stand. So look and see what Mounk Tounk did, see what he's doing, and see what you're going to do. You got to make a decision. Are you going to stand on what you said in that paperwork and actually snitch in front of Young Thug, or are you going to just let it slide and stand on business and it is what it is? Keep it discreet, even though you already signed a paper, which was obviously keeping it unscreet because that's still snitching as well because that's agreeing that crimes and stuff was taking place, right? Anyways, last but not least, we got Kanye West hired a private investigator to follow his wife Bianca. Allegedly, this is what TMZ is saying. Follow his wife Bianca and then in a lawsuit as well, right? And then of course, look into the Kim Kardashian or the Kardashians for any type of crimes. Who knows? Maybe just trying to get full custody. Anyways, let me know something. Coming down below, let me know what you think about this entire ordeal. I'm out.